The result I wanted, but truthfully, the result I wanted was to see if I could still do it. But I didn't quit, never give up, never retreat, never surrender, fight to the end, go out on your shield. Time is the fire in which we all burn. But I gave it my absolute all, and I have nothing but respect for Chase. I have no excuses. He was the man who won. He deserves this victory. Truthfully, completely, and honestly, I'm actually very proud of him. And I'm glad to know that Misfits have a true champion, because he is a true champion. So I'm not disappointed in myself. I don't operate from that frame. The only way I would be disappointed in myself is if I was too scared to fight at all.
It's been a few days since the Tate fight blew up, and now that the first wave of hot takes has cooled off, we can finally break down what really went down without all the extra chatter. Looking back with clear eyes, this fight wasn't controversial, it wasn't unlucky, and it definitely wasn't close at all. This was a textbook case of cherry-picking that backfired in real time, and the replay makes that painfully obvious. The hype faded fast once reality stepped into the ring, and the outcome told its own story. For years, Andrew Tate has built a huge chunk of his image around being this dangerous, ultra-disciplined fighter who gets violence, competition, and dominance on a deeper level than most. Scroll online and you'll see non-stop pad work clips, old kickboxing highlights, and loud talk about still being in peak condition. The messaging was clear: elite mindset, elite training, elite readiness. On paper, there wasn't much reason to doubt him because yes, he has real experience and real wins behind him. He's been in real fights, won real titles, and faced real pressure before, so the assumption felt safe. Even if he wasn't perfect, the belief was that he'd still be sharp enough to control the moment. But that idea crumbled almost instantly once the round started. Something felt off right away. Tate didn't look sharp, didn't look loose, and more importantly, didn't look comfortable reacting to what was actually happening in front of him. As the fight dragged on, it became impossible to ignore what everyone was seeing. He looked tired, flat-footed, and behind the pace, struggling with basic boxing fundamentals. That's what shocked people the most. This wasn't supposed to be someone walking in half-ready. Tate has money, access, and a circle full of fight veterans, so expectations were high for a camp that covered every angle and every weakness.
And everyone said, Andrew, you're 40 years old. You just got out of jail. You've been through so much. You have so many problems and so much going on. Why would you do this? Why would you risk it all? Why would you get in there? And I felt a tinge of fear for the first time in my life. And that's when I knew I had to fight. Because the second I felt afraid, I knew I had to fight. I can't live doubting myself. Seeds of doubt grow into forests of inaction. I don't operate that way. If Chase and I had to fight again tomorrow, I'd go tomorrow still with 100% belief in myself, even though I know he just beat me. That's who I am. The second I knew that, I was worried about it, I knew I had to do it. And I'm not afraid to lose. I'm afraid to not try.
Instead, what showed up looked like a fighter who trained for one very specific scenario and froze when the script flipped. When you go back and watch the fight camp footage posted on Rumble, things start clicking into place. The camp looked intense, no doubt, but intensity alone doesn't equal smart preparation. You can grind non-stop and still miss the details that matter when the pressure hits, and that's exactly what this exposed. Most of the sparring footage we saw was against people smaller than him, kickboxers, or his own friends, guys he's probably been trading rounds with for years. That's a serious issue when you're gearing up for a real fight, especially at heavyweight. Familiarity is the enemy here. Sparring with people who already know your rhythm, respect your name, and won't drag you into uncomfortable spots builds a fake sense of readiness that doesn't hold up under real pressure. You don't learn how to adjust on the fly like that. You don't learn how to survive chaos when things get messy, and that's the danger zone. Everyone kept saying Andrew was locked in, but locked in against who exactly? Comfort rounds don't expose flaws, they hide them. Now, the best sparring partner we actually saw was Benjamin Adebouye, a legit glory kickboxing champion. That's real talent, no doubt, but he's still a kickboxer, not a boxer. Different range, different rhythm, different pressure, and there's zero clarity on how often they even sparred or how hard those sessions really went. That opens up a massive question mark. Where were the real tests? Where were the big, rough heavyweights whose only job was to lean on Andrew Tate, smother him, shove him into the ropes, and force him to work while exhausted? Where were the ugly rounds designed to drain his gas tank and make him problem solve under stress?
You would be hard as hell. Notice. If I'm gonna come back, I need to fight someone.
Hey, real quick, look at, hey boys, right here behind us. I can't believe. You get a selfie real quick behind me. All the fighters, everybody. Right here.
Oh, Tristan came. Oh, hi.
Right here, Emiliano. Oh, yeah, I got you. I'll swipe, I can't. Still got the light? Yeah. Right here. Where? Yeah, right here. Brother, let's give you a handshake. Good to see you. Good man, bro. Son, how you doing?
Good to see you. I'll wait for you.
I need you in court. Tell the judge. Why are you gay? You know, like I'm in court and the judge is talking shit. I'm like, you weren't even there. What the fuck do you know?
Tell the guy he's gay.
Yeah, exactly. Why are you gay? Let me go home.
Because here's the truth people miss. Early fatigue doesn't just magically show up on fight night, it shows up in sparring weeks earlier. If Tate was truly working with guys who matched the opponent's size, pressure, and pace, someone in that camp would have noticed the conditioning red flags immediately. So either he wasn't being tested properly, or nobody was being straight with him. And that's where camp dynamics matter big time. Loyalty sounds good, but loyalty without honesty gets fighters hurt. Tate's tight with his coach, and that bond isn't the issue. The issue is that with so many experienced people around, someone should have spoken up louder before it was too late. At no point did anyone in that camp step up and say, "This isn't enough," or "We need harder rounds," or even, "This fight is going to get ugly fast." Instead, it looked like everybody bought into the myth that past experience alone would carry Andrew Tate through anything. That belief planted the seeds for everything that went sideways next. Experience is valuable, sure, but experience without current answers is just a memory, and memories don't fight back. Now let's talk about what actually happened inside the ring, because this is where all the guessing stops and the truth shows up loud and clear. Early on, Tate didn't look terrible at all. He stayed composed, circled a bit, tried to find his rhythm, and looked like he wanted to ease into the fight. But almost immediately, Chase D'Amour made it clear what kind of night this was going to be. He didn't wait, didn't play cute, and didn't give space. Chase closed the distance, leaned his weight, clinched up, and forced Tate to carry him. And that's not dirty. That's not unfair. That's heavyweight boxing. This idea that clinch work somehow excuses fatigue is nonsense. Bigger fighters are supposed to do exactly that. They sap your legs, drain your gas tank, and make you work even when nothing clean is landing. If you don't have answers for that pressure, you're going to drown. And that's exactly what happened. As the rounds piled up, Tate's movements slowed, his hands dropped, and his breathing became obvious to everyone watching. Once the fatigue hit, something even more alarming showed up. Nothing changed. No adjustments, no reset, no shift in tempo at all. He fought tired the exact same way he fought fresh. That's one of the biggest red flags you can see in any fight. Good boxers don't just have a plan A. They have survival instincts. They know how to buy time, break rhythm, control clinches, or slow things down when everything starts slipping. Tate didn't do any of that once his gas tank dipped. From that point on, the fight played out completely on Chase's terms. And that's exactly why the better boxer argument just doesn't hold up at all. Tate might look more technically polished on paper, but boxing isn't scored on how smooth you look when everything's going right. It's judged on what survives when everything starts falling apart. The better boxer is the one who adapts under pressure, not the one who looks clean in pad work clips and slow-mo videos. And what made this loss sting even more is how predictable the problems were from the jump. This wasn't some freak situation or surprise twist. Everybody knew Chase D'Amour was bigger. Everybody knew he'd lean, clinch, and make it ugly. Everybody knew the pace would be uncomfortable. Yet Andrew Tate showed up ready for a clean, early, controlled fight, not a grind. That's not bad luck, and it's definitely not age. That's a straight-up preparation failure. People keep trying to pin this on Tate's age, but that's a lazy excuse. Plenty of fighters compete deep into their late 30s and even early 40s when their preparation matches the reality of the matchup. Tate didn't lose because his body suddenly shut down overnight. He lost because he didn't build an engine for the worst-case scenario. You don't train for when everything goes perfect. You train for when things go wrong. And the second the fight crossed that line, the cracks showed immediately. Meanwhile, Chase did exactly what he needed to do. He stuck to the game plan, stayed disciplined, and let the fight come to him. No flashy nonsense, no wild chasing for a knockout. He just made Tate uncomfortable long enough for the conditioning gap to expose itself. By the later rounds, the ending felt inevitable. You could feel the momentum locked in. After the fight, Tate initially handled the loss fairly well. No explosion, no instant excuses, no dramatic meltdown. He accepted the decision and kept it moving. But over the next few days, the tone started to shift. Instead of a simple, "I lost, I wasn't ready for that kind of fight," we got a long, drawn-out breakdown about mindset, spirit, growth, and lessons learned. Reflection is cool, but over-explaining usually means someone's wrestling with reality. If you truly know why you lost, you don't need a 40-minute monologue to explain it. One thing Tate kept repeating was that he got tired, but he didn't know why. And that right there says everything. When the answer isn't clear, it usually means the preparation never asked the hard questions in the first place. That one statement alone tells you everything you need to know about boxing. Fatigue is never random, ever. It comes from pressure, pace, inefficiency, or straight-up lack of conditioning. The fight was explaining the problem in real time, round by round. Andrew Tate just didn't want to listen to what the ring was saying. Another pattern kept popping up too. There was a lot of downplaying Chase D'Amour's impact while still admitting the clinch work was exhausting. But that's not an excuse, that's literally the sport. Heavyweights don't fight pretty, they fight effective. Leaning, clinching, grinding, draining energy, that's how wins get secured at that size. The most concerning part of Tate's post-fight response wasn't the loss itself. Losses happen. It was the refusal to fully own where things actually went wrong. Instead of breaking down the camp, the sparring choices, or the conditioning strategy, the focus drifted into abstract talk about mindset, spirit, and internal battles. And that's dangerous, because if the takeaway from this fight is anything other than the preparation didn't match the challenge, then nothing changes at all. This fight should be a loud wake-up call, not just for Tate, but for anyone thinking reputation alone is enough to step into competition. Combat sports don't care who you used to be. They only care about what you've done lately and how well you prepared for what's in front of you. Tate still has options. He can reassess, rebuild his camp, bring in real tests, and train for chaos if he truly wants another fight. Or he can walk away and accept that this chapter has run its course. There's no shame in either choice. The only real mistake would be pretending this fight didn't expose real issues. At the end of the day, the fight doesn't lie. Chase showed up ready, Tate didn't, and no amount of mindset talk can rewrite that reality. So what do you think? Was this a conditioning failure, a camp failure, or both? Did Tate underestimate the fight or overestimate where he's at right now? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more straight-up, no-fluff fight analysis. Catch you on the next one.